Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to our channel. January has flown by and here we are in the new year with our goals, whether you're running perfectly on track with your goals or whether you've already found that you have fallen off more quickly or prematurely from what you have had planned. Now this video is for you today if you are feeling yourself wobble a little bit, if you're finding that you're not feeling so confident that you will be able to be consistent with continuing this goal, or if you've already fallen off, even if you've already completely given up on the goal that you set for 2023. I want to offer you a mindset shift in the form of a single style of thought that, if captured, then you can change the course of your consistency and ultimately the achievement in your goal. Let's get into it. So if you've been following me for a while, you might have heard me talk about these two sort of modes of our mind. One mode of our mind is the intentional part of our mind, the part of our mind that is able to observe and direct our thoughts and be a bit more in sort of the driver's seat of our experience and the emotions we create, the behaviors that those emotions drive, and ultimately the outcomes that we make. But a lot of our life is spent in this other mode that I talk about, which is your autopilot mode, where your mind is not in your voluntary control. You're not being necessarily aware and certainly not directing your mind to where you would like your mind to go. This is the involuntary part of our mind, because anybody who's meditated will know that it's not that we create thoughts intentionally in our mind. If you sit and listen to your mind, if you just sit back and let your mind be, you will notice that it just produces thought after thought after thought after thought. This is the involuntary part of our mind. When we are doing mind management and when we're living in a practice of managing our mind, we acknowledge that yes, we have this intentional part of our mind, which we can take some responsibility over and ownership and direct our mind here, but we also work with, don't try and suppress or deny the existence of this involuntary part of our mind. Now, when it comes to goals, it is really common, ironically, this might not be something that you automatically feel like resonates, but just look and listen for your mind. Look into your past and see what's happened. This thought of, I can't do it, this doubt in your mind that you can't achieve this goal. And hang tight with me here, because this thought is quite logical. A lot of us will find, if we really listen to our mind, there is a part of our mind that says that. And that's because by setting this goal, usually by definition, you haven't achieved this goal before. Perhaps you've achieved it before for a shorter period in your life, but now you're saying you want to do it again in these new circumstances, so it's new in that way. Or you want to do it consistently. Maybe you've seen that you've done it for a 4-week block, a 3-month block before, a year, but now you're saying you want to do it consistently. In any case, these are new circumstances, and part of our mind will argue that our circumstances are different now, so I don't know, I haven't got the evidence that I can achieve the goal. So this is that part of your mind that says, well, I don't have the evidence. Logically, I've never done this before in these circumstances, under these circumstances. So I don't know that I can do it. And suddenly the doubt is cast over your goal. And that allows this involuntary part of your mind to say, well, I don't have evidence to show that I can achieve this goal. Maybe I can't. And that can become, I can't achieve this goal. Now, the most important thing that I want you to take away from this video is that it's not a problem. The fact that that thought, that doubt, that question, or even that assertion, that statement, I can't, comes into your mind, this is not a problem. This is expected. This is, from most of us, how our involuntary minds operate. We need evidence. We love being logical and evidence. In fact, most of us pride ourselves, certainly in medicine, we pride ourselves on being logical and rational. That's not actually how the world works a lot of the time. And certainly in this case, you cannot get evidence. There is no evidence available that you can certainly do this goal, achieve this thing in the future under these circumstances. You have no idea what you're going to be up against in the future. So you will never find that crisp, clean, definitive evidence that you want. And your brain will use that against you. Your mind will say you can't. So with saying all of that, the thought comes up. We make it not a problem. We expect this. We anticipate that our mind is going to do this. And this is where you're going to do something different from what everybody else does. When you hear that thought, you get a chance to respond to that thought. Most people will simply believe the thought. They will believe the thought as it arises in their mind, and they'll make it a problem. They'll create problems from that. They'll believe the thought, that'll create an emotion in us, and that'll affect our behavior, which includes our cognition, our decisions that we make around our goal. I can't do this. Maybe I can't do this is the thought. The emotion is defeated. And in your behaviors, you're not problem solving. You're not looking for solutions. You're not maximizing your chances to go and execute on the goal, to take the next action. You're not looking at all the reasons why you can do it. You're not feeling confident. You're not feeling motivated or desire. Why would you bother doing something? Why would you bother taking the next action in something when you believe that you can't do it up there in your thought line, right? Not congruent. Instead, for you, the thought will come up, I can't, and you will notice that thought. You won't instantly believe it, or perhaps you will believe it at first, and you'll feel the emotion, and you'll catch the emotion. You'll catch the thought or the emotion, or maybe even you'll catch some of the behaviors you start to take first. But the point is that you will notice it, and you'll observe it, and you'll remember that it is a thought. You won't make it a problem that it's there. You'll say, hey, of course, my mind would offer this thought. Now, how am I going to respond to my thoughts, my mind, my emotional reaction to that thought, my body? How am I going to take care of my mind and my body in this circumstance now that this thought and emotion is in my body? What am I going to do to reorientate to executing and achieving my goal here? So this situation is a part of the practice of mind management. Yes, we direct our mind in that intentional way, with that ability that we have, that we spoke about at the start. But we also have to be able to respond to our involuntary mind when it's not producing good thought, emotion, behavior responses to the world. So what you're going to do with this awareness is you're going to continue to supervise your mind and ultimately respond in a way that is congruent with you achieving your goals. That starts with the awareness, the supervising, that observer mode that we can go into. Next, with that awareness, we don't automatically believe the thought. We recognize the thought as a thought, not a fact, so that we can get a bit of space from it. Then we make that thought not a problem, because we're not believing it, and we don't let it flow, that thought flow into our emotions and our behaviors. We interrupt that cognitive program. And finally, we redirect our mind to a more useful thought, and we rinse and repeat. Now, I'm making this sound really simple, but there are a lot of skills that go into being able to executing on this process. And even to start with, the ability to supervise our mind is really difficult. The ability to see our thoughts as just thoughts and not facts, to not believe what our mind offers, is really difficult. Difficult in the sense that it takes practice, it takes time. It's not something that just happens like that. And this is where the guidance of a coach can be really useful. If you know that this is something that you need to do to be able to achieve your goals in your life, to be able to be more consistent and create all those results that you want, then jump on a consult with me and I can show you how this work can apply to you, and you can decide whether or not this is the next thing that you need to do, the next step that you need to take to be able to realize all these things in your life, rather than just have the intellectual awareness of these things that you should do or that could help.